Hey everybody, welcome back to American History with Mr. Fan. Today we are getting after it because we are getting close to the end of the year. So I would like to jump into a few things and kind of fast forward through where we're at. We're pretty good through World War II. We know that the tide had changed. The United States had worked with England to just hang on for a while. Germany decided to attack Russia, which brought Stalin and the Russians into the war on our side. So now Germany's like, North Africa's not going great, but we still hold all of basically Europe. So today we're going to look at where the tide is going to change in this, and that is going to be D-Day. So D-Day is a day, June 6, 1944. It is what's the best way to put it? We are attacking from sea. I don't want to use words that you may or may not catch or know. But this attack on June 6, 1944 is going to be coming from the ocean. It's landing on a beach at Normandy. So we want to say this: at Normandy on this date, the Allies, meaning us, attack, landing on the beach. This will make more sense as I explain it. So, we, meaning the Allies, are going to come across the English Channel towards France, and France is controlled by Germany, and there's a place in France called Normandy. The Allies are going to attack this place, and they're going to attack it with ships that are carrying men, ships that are carrying supplies, all this stuff. There's artillery fire. It's pretty crazy. The beaches had been had a defense from Germany, so we're landing on a beach where the Germans are, and they can see you coming off of these ships, and they're able to fire at these people landing at this beach. But we were trying to get a foothold on mainland Europe, and this is how we're going to do it, and on D-Day. So, June 6th, we launched this huge, major attack on Germany because we know that North Africa is going well. We know that the Allies are starting to come up in Italy. Now we're going to try and get this area. So, what happens at this point? Long story short, we continue to push people onto the beach until finally the Allies are going to win. And this means that after June 6th, or right around here, June 6th, June 7th, the Allies and us have what we would call a foothold on Europe. We now have a place where we can ship our guns and tanks and jeeps and everything. We can ship them to here, and now we can start from this one point to move towards Paris, the capital of France, move towards Germany to try and end this war. This is a huge event in World War II, this landing at Normandy, because it does give us that foothold. So, what happens now? Well, after we get this foothold, we do exactly what I just said. The Allies pour in all of their supplies. They make their way towards France, since this is in France. They make their way towards Paris, and they liberate, meaning they free France from the Germans. And they continue on towards Germany. And everything seems like it's going great after D-Day, until we have one final offensive. What does that mean? Well, we have this another major battle of World War II, Battle of the Bulge. The Battle of the Bulge is basically this. This is all you have to understand. It is final offensive attack by or from Germany. So, Germany sees the writing on the wall. The Allies are pushing toward, they've already freed France. They're moving towards Germany. Germany says, hey, we have to stop this. We have to do something. They launch an attack at the Allies. It's called the Battle of the Bulge because if this is the Allies right here, they had a line. That line is marching towards Germany. As the line gets closer to Germany, the Germans attack. So there's a G for Germany. Germans attack, and they push this line back like that, and they create a bulge in the line. But here's what happens. The Allies do not break, and they repel the Germans, meaning the Germans have to run and retreat. So the Germans do not break this line, and the Allies continue to move towards Germany to liberate the people of Europe as a whole, which is great, right? Germany's on the ropes. The Allies are coming. However, the Allies start to come across things. They come across evidence of the Holocaust. Now, the Holocaust is going to be what Hitler deemed as the final solution. That was his word. The Holocaust is basically, destroy all Jewish people. Really, you could use the term exterminate. You could, exterminate all Jews. That's what they wanted to get rid of all the Jewish people, and the Holocaust is the systematic extermination of this people. Now, if you don't know about the Holocaust, things that you could look into, Auschwitz was a concentration camp. They'd shipped Jews on trains to these camps where they would, keep them basically prisoner, and then, there's not a easy way to put this or say it, but they would mass murder all of these people, sometimes using, large showers that were communal showers, and they would think they were going to get showers and poison gas would come out. But they are killing, thousands, hundreds of thousands at a time. Eventually we're hitting millions of people. So in the Holocaust, we are going to see, up to 6 million, I'll just put an extra I, up to a million Jews killed. But this doesn't even, 6 million Jews killed, but during the Holocaust in general, the idea was to get rid of anybody who was not this pure German, race, DNA-wise. This was Hitler's idea. We are going to see, 6 million Jews, but the whole number is going to be 11 million people. 11 million people killed. Who are these other people? Well, they could be Slavs or other ethnic groups that the Germans thought were subhuman. It could be people who were mentally challenged. It could be people who had different, orientations as far as who they were attracted to. It could there are anyone who did not fit the model of this is what a perfect German is. Could have ended up in one of the concentration camps and met a horrible, horrible end. We're talking men, women, and children. They did not view them as human. And so during the Holocaust, we are seeing this mass extermination of people. And as the war continues and the Allies push into German territory, they come across these concentration camps, finding and seeing the evidence of what was going on in Germany during this time period, which is just horrific. So, let me make sure I don't miss anything else here. Start to see the Holocaust. Good. Let's talk about this then. Once the Allies get into Germany and start seeing, evidence of the Holocaust and things like that, you're on the last legs of Germany being involved in this war. So let me give you basically a final end to Europe. Hitler commits suicide in the waning days of Germans' defenses. So the Allies have come through France. They have liberated everyone. They're starting to free people from the concentration camps, the ones that are alive. They're coming in on Berlin, the capital of Germany. Hitler is going to say, hey, listen, I do not want to be taken alive. He is going to commit suicide before being taken into as a prisoner, thus ending the war in Europe. All right? So this is the end of Hitler. He commits suicide. So if I ask you a question of what happens to Hitler in the end, takes care of himself. But we still have this problem. Japan in the Pacific. Now, things have been going better in the Pacific for us in the United States and the Allies. We had done something called island hopping. So we started down close to Australia. We started going from island to island to island, taking back a lot of the land that Japan had expanded into. But the fighting was tough. It was like beach landings all the time, like we were just saying with Normandy. It was not good. And in the Pacific, what we're going to see is we're going to see a lot of this, American deaths. American deaths are up in the Pacific, and so we have ourselves a question. Is there a way to make this not be as horrible for Americans dying in Japan? We do have an answer to this. We had a top secret project that had been going on during World War II that is called the Manhattan Project. Your assignment is to look up the Manhattan Project today, because the Manhattan Project is going to produce, I'll just tell you a little bit, bombs that are going to end this war. Now, that is not going to give it away, but the Manhattan Project does create something, and they are bombs that are going to end this war. So what I need to know about the Manhattan Project are 10 facts about the Manhattan Project. This is what we're doing. We're finding facts about things since we're near the end. So the Manhattan Project is your assignment. This is what's going to put an end to World War II, which gives us a day to do post-war, and then your final will be on some of the centuries, some of the decades coming up. So that's it. Give me these 10 facts. Look up the Manhattan Project. Tell me about it. See what you find. And it is the end to World War II. So on that note, I will see you next class.